Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Dear students, welcome to our class. So, inshallah, in this class, we will start this lesson food production and animal husbandry. So, last class we completed chapter 25, heredity. So, in this class, we will see this chapter 31. So, what is food production and animal husbandry? Food production is basically how the food is produced, agriculture and other sources of food like meat and all those things. And animal husbandry is how the animals are produced in the farms, the various processes that are related to it. So we'll see in this lesson about this food production and animal husbandry. So the first topic in this is development of agriculture and green revolution. So we have humans have been doing agriculture for thousands of years. Uh, you know, for many centuries, humans have been doing agriculture to eat food. Okay, so that we should know that. And next one is green revolution in Indian agriculture. So green denotes something related to agriculture. So there was a revolution that happened, a big change related to crop farming and food production occurred in India between 1960 and 1988. So this period is termed as the golden age of agriculture, and it was named as the Green Revolution. Okay, so India became self-sufficient in the field of agriculture. India didn't have to depend on other countries. So India became self-sufficient. So this credit goes to a scientist called as Dr. M.S. Swaminathan. So he's a great agriculture scientist. He, based on the steps he took, India, this revolution happened in India. So he was awarded World Food Prize for this. So so green revolution was initiated with improved wheat and rice farming. In India, the majority of the people eat rice and wheat. Most of the North Indians they eat wheat, that is roti and chapati. So in South Indian people mostly they eat rice. So by increasing this wheat and rice, so many the poverty was the main goal was to uh, provide a lot of food to the poor people and those who are suffering without food. So the green revolution was initiated with improved wheat and rice farming. Okay, so for the to sustain this green revolution, there are certain factors that are necessary. First one is that industries that manufacture agriculture implements, pumps, fertilizers, and insecticides to need to be established. So many industries that do this, they have to be established. And the next one is irrigation. Irrigation is water supply, and power projects are to be encouraged to receive a regular supply of water and energy for farming. For farming, we need water that is necessary, and also energy is necessary, right? That is, energy is electricity is necessary. So proper projects have to be encouraged and done. And the next one is research and development institutes. In the research and development institute, they will do research and produce high quality crops, and they are pest resistant. Pest is basically a bug or something that attacks the plant. So they have to produce healthy, pest resistant, and high quality crops. So those research and development institutes have to be established in the country. So these are the necessary steps that have to be taken to sustain the green revolution. Okay. Then the next topic is the principles and methods of crop production. So there are some principles and there are some methods for the crop production. So the branch of agriculture science which deals with the crop production and the management of farms. So the crop, how the crop are produced and how the farms have to be managed. So that field in agriculture science is called as agronomy. So there are what are the principles of crop production? So these are the different principles of crop production, like maintenance of fertility and productivity of the soil, and sowing healthy seeds. Okay, and proper arrangements of water and fertilizers, and the scientific storage of harvest after harvesting of the crops, how they have to be stored properly, and crop rotation, how the crops. We will see what is crop rotation in the upcoming topic, and to improve the soil and to manage it so that the crops grow well. So then we see the methods of crop production. There are different methods of crop production. There is not one single method, but there are different methods of crop production. For example, here they have listed four methods of crop production. First method is called as crop rotation, second one is called as mixed farming, third one is mixed cropping, and fourth one is organic farming. What is crop rotation? So crop rotation is nothing but the crops are grown in a predetermined sequence at a particular time. Okay, this is what is called as crop rotation. That is, a certain or particular type of crop is grown first because it needs more water. Okay, so it will be grown first, and then a different crop will be grown. Okay, so they will have certain sequence. So based on the benefits, they make a certain sequence. Uh, so this method is called as crop rotation, and they have some period. For example, a certain plant will be grown in November, and it will be cut or harvested in March or April. So like this, you can read about this here when the plants are, planted and harvested. So, for example, why crop rotation is beneficial here? The peas, beans, and pulses are leguminous crops. Leguminous crops means they will have a root like this. So, these roots, what they do is that they have nitrogen fixing bacteria in their roots. The nitrogen fixing bacteria can grow well in these roots. So, what is nitrogen fixing bacteria? These bacteria or microbes, they convert the free nitrogen found in the atmosphere. In the atmosphere, that is air, the free nitrogen will be there. This nitrogen, these microbes can fix those nitrogen into the soil, okay, into the usable form. So that nitrogen will be used for crops that need nitrogen to grow well. Okay, so by planting these crops, okay, and after harvesting, the soil will be rich with nitrogen because of this property. Then those plants which need nitrogen for growth, which need or which grow well with nitrogen, they will be harvested next. They will be planted next. So this method is called as crop rotation. Okay. So these are the benefits of crop rotation, like increases it crop production, it prevents soil erosion. Okay. So and regular income throughout the year. So you do not have to wait. You can put another crop that can grow well. Okay. Then the next is mixed cropping. Mixed cropping is one or two or more crops. Okay, uh, they are grown in the same field at the same time. Okay, so they are grown at the same time. So this is called as mixed cropping. So agriculture field is there. So they are not just one particular type of crop is grown, but different types of crops are grown at the same time. So the biggest advantage of mixed cropping is that the farmer gets many crops simultaneously at one time. Okay, and within the short interval of time, they do not have to wait, for the one crop to be harvested and then they plant another crop. It's not like that. They can get the multiple types of crops simultaneously at one time. Then there is multi-cropping. It is a planting of two to four crops during the same year in the same field. So in the same field, okay, they plant two to four crops in the same field. So this is possible only if plant we the crop we planted require planting for a shorter period of time. So for example, if there is a crop that has to grow for 1 or 2 years, okay, then we cannot do the multi-cropping there. So it is only possible 2 to 4 crops can be grown in the same year. In the same year, 2 to 4 crops are grown in the same field. So this is called as multi-cropping. Then here they have given the classification of crops. The crops have been divided into annuals, biennials, and perennials. So what are this? So some crops they grow like annually, or some they are biennials. So they can be cultivated 2 times in a year, and perennials you can grow throughout the year. Okay. So on the basis of seasons, they are classified into three types in India. One is Kharif, that are crops planted between October and December, and Rabi, or the crops that are planted between April and July, and Zaid crops are planted mainly during the summer season. So, like that, they have classified the crops, and also based on the specific use they have classified the crops like intermediate crops, cash crops. Through that many profit can be achieved, like that they have classified. So here, as we told, Kharif, Rabi and Zaid, you can see these are the those crops they have classified and named here. You can read about it. The next one is organic farming. So organic farming works in conjunction with nature and it is not opposed to it. So basically, these this farming, they use natural fertilizers, natural fertilizers, and they do not use a certain modern way that affects the nature. Okay, so organic farm, they are parallel with the nature and it is not opposed to it. So basically, the farming, the agriculture is done with natural, fertilizers and all those things. So here, these are some organic farming uh, method. So here, for example, horticulture. It includes gardening of fruits and vegetables. Okay, fruits and vegetables are gardened. Uh, in the horticulture, it leads to increased yield of fruits and vegetables and their appropriate cultivation. Okay, so in the horticulture, what they do is that they garden the fruits and vegetables and it gives increased yield. Okay, so the Agriculture Ministry of the Government of India has set up a national gardening mission, which is basically working in order to enhance the horticulture and gardening in cities and villages across the country. So that is about horticulture. Then we will see about improved agriculture practices. So there are regular agriculture practices, but now we will see about improved agriculture practices. So by doing improved agriculture practices, we can improve the yield of the crops. Okay. So we will see different methods, agriculture practices, improve agriculture process. First one is making the soil suitable for farming. So the uppermost, the thin crust of the earth, the topsoil covers the earth like a sheath. So it is the basis for the plant life and its growth. So the to make the soil suitable for the farming for different plants, they increase the field. So this is one of the uh, improved practice of the agriculture. And the next one is treatment of seeds. So they treat the seeds. They select only the good seeds and remove the bad seeds. By this, uh, the crops can be grown well, and also the seeds have to be protected from the pests or some insects so that they do not get diseases, and then this healthy seeds will lead to healthy plants and good production, good yield. Then the preparation of seed field and taking care of new plants. Then the next method is the seed field is there, right? Agriculture seed. They have to be prepared well so that the seed grows well, and also taking care of new plants. After the plants grow, they have to be taken care from pests, insects, and all other uh, things that stop the growth of the plant or interrupt the growth of the plant. Okay. The field, the topsoil should be soft and loose. It should not be tough. Otherwise, the shoot cannot come upwards. So that have to be done properly, and the unwanted weeds have to be removed. So these are some methods. And the next one is transplantation. The process of shifting the new plants from the field where they were sown to the main field is called transplantation. So basically what happens is that seeds are sown and the new plants grow, right. So now these new plants, they are taken and they are shifted to another place. This is called as transplantation. And the next one is the use of fertilizer and manures actually. This should be manure. So for the healthy growth, crops need nutrients. Okay. So a total of 16 nutrient elements are needed by plants. Okay. So in this 16, uh, there are 6 nutrients that are essential, and they need in larger quantity for the plants. So these are called as macronutrients. So these are those macronutrients. and there are seven nutrients that are needed in smaller quantity. They are called as micronutrients. Here they have given the names. Okay, you have to read all those things. So dear students, I'm going little fast because we have many chapters to complete. So I'm only covering those things which are difficult for you to understand. For example, I'm saying these are macronutrients, but you have to read yourself what are those macronutrients like nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, calcium, magnesium, sulfur. Okay, I'm not covering this because I do not have to give any explanation. You just have to read and know it. Okay, just because I'm not mentioning what are those nutrients, it doesn't mean that you can skip studying. You have to study all those things, but I'm just covering those things which need explanation. Okay, but you have to study everything. So the next topic is the use of plant growth regulators. So to regulate the plant growth, to increase the plant growth, there are some chemicals that can increase the rate of the growth of plants. So they are used for the growth of the plants like auxin, gibberellins, cytokinin. These are some chemicals that can regulate the growth of the plant. Then the next one is irrigation. Irrigation is basically the water supply. So for certain plants, water have to be given more. For example, rice, it needs a lot of water. But for certain plants, you cannot give a lot of water. If you give a lot of water, the plant will go waste. So there are different methods of irrigation. For example, this is drip irrigation. So the tube will be there and the water will be dripped slowly. You might have seen somewhere. And then it's sprinkling irrigation. Some plants, the water will be sprinkled. In this way, the higher growth of the plants and the good yields can be achieved by appropriate irrigation method. Then the next one is harvesting crops. So harvesting crops is basically when do you harvest the crop, when do you cut the crop, and when do you take the fruits or the vegetables. Okay. For example, certain vegetable will be there. It has to be taken young. For example, uh, sweet corn. Sweet corn is there, and baby corn is there. Baby corn is there. You have to take early. You cannot leave the crop for longer period of time. So the period is there when to harvest the crops. That deals with harvesting of the crops. The next one is biofertilizers. So we have fertilizers that is um, to use to increase the growth of the plant. Okay, so they contain nutrients in it. So biofertilizers, they are they are not chemical, but they are made biologically from the organic sources. First one is biomass organic manure. So they increase the crop yield. There are different kinds of fertilizers and manures that are used. So organic manures are nothing but they are natural ingredients, okay, which increase the soil fertility. And another organic fertilizer is that vermicompost. Vermicompost is the earthworm culture. So earthworms are the true friends of the farmers and the natural flowers because earthworm they help in the uh, agriculture. So so vermicompost is nothing but the earthworm culture. Okay, so they act as the uh, sorry they act as the organic fertilizer. And the next one is compost. Compost is the manure is created out of the decomposition of the household waste. So we in our household we have many waste like vegetable and you know will be there. So they are decomposed and they are used as the manure. So they are called as compost. And the farmyard manure. Farmyard manure is from the animals, their urines and excrements. They are used. Okay, so they are farmyard manure. And the next one is fertilizer. So these fertilizers are not organic fertilizer, but they are chemical. What scientists do is that they know that certain nutrients are essential and they need large in amounts. For example, nitrogen, phosphate, and potassium. So they are used in large amounts in a uh, from the chemicals. Okay, as chemicals. So these are the fertilizers. And There are some difference between organic manure and fertilizers. We saw organic manures and we saw fertilizers. So that there are differences. You can read about this in this table, inshallah. This they can ask in the exams. Okay. And the next one is the protection of the harvest. How the harvest are to be protected. I think we will see this in the next class, inshallah, because we have covered a lot in this class. So next class, I will cover this and complete this lesson, inshallah. So from now on, we have to go fast. So I'm only teaching you those topics or those what do you say wordings that need explanation. Okay, those terms which need explanation. So those that need not any explanation, like here you can read and understand this. I'm just leaving you for you to read and understand, because you have to put some effort to study and understand. And if you do not understand any topics or any term, okay, or any uh, a topic or any word, you can message me, inshallah. I will answer you. Okay, but you have to put your effort to study. Your exams are approaching in 3 to 4 months, I think 3 months. So you have to study well, inshallah. Through this online classes, I know it is very difficult, but you have to sit, open your book, study, take notes, study a lesson multiple times. Then only you'll be able to study and retain the topic, inshallah. Okay, retain the concepts. So if you have any doubts, you can message me anytime. See you all. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.